welcome to Fulfilled After 40, the podcast. I'm Kris Kendall, your host. Today, we are talking with Ashley about her new business. Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kris. Thank you so much for having me today.
Great. Yeah, we're glad you're here. So tell me a little bit about your business. I'd love to learn more.
Sure. So, my business is called Overwhelmed to Organize Virtual Assistants. It is a virtual assistant agency where we support mainly solopreneurs, but also entrepreneurs with very small teams with basic admin work, such as email management, all the way up to more advanced stuff like creating their standard operating procedures, as well as automating their backend systems.
Wow, that's awesome. I definitely am going to need your services very soon. um, so tell me about some of the challenges you're facing as a growing company.
Yeah, so right now, as I mentioned, we're serving several clients at the moment, and it's myself as well as two team members. And I feel like I'm getting to a place where I'm no longer so involved in the day to day that I don't necessarily get all the updates on everything that's going on with the team. And I need some support with really honing in on a platform where, we can have like better communication around, what got done, what didn't get done, what's still in progress, and what does my team necessarily need my specific support with. So that would be super helpful.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's an important piece, getting that system in place. So it sounds like you've evaluated a couple different tools. What are you looking at?
So right now it's between either Honeybook or Dubsado, and pretty much they do like the same thing. I just want to make sure that we select a platform that's going to work best for us. So I'm in between those two platforms.
Okay. So what are the key things that you need this platform to do?
So I need it to, one, really kind of guide us through like where the different stages of the project. So at a glance, I could just look at it and see what stage we're at, whether that's a workflow, whether that's a specific project within it. So just making sure that I could just look at it and I know, or maybe it could look like maybe we have some sort of end of day check-in using our project management system, Asana, where there's like a end of day form, like a Google form my team completes so that I know exactly what was done. But I just want to make sure that we're doing it in the most efficient way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. And then is that the primary thing that you needed to do is just project management?
Yeah, I think so because as I mentioned, I'm not so involved in the day to day, and I am the main person that is client facing. So when I'm meeting with my clients, I want to make sure that I have the most up to date information so that when I'm sharing with them, they know exactly where we're at with whatever project we're supporting them with or whatever task that they're expecting us to complete.
Right. Okay. And so you use Asana, which is a project management tool. So what will Honeybook or Dubsado do separate from the project management?
Right. So that is going to help improve our client experience.
Okay.
So that way, say, for example, if we're bringing in a new client, making sure that the journey that they're going through is in the right order. So, for example, we have our discovery calls first. And then after our discovery calls, they need to get a discovery call, follow up email listing, a recap of the call, everything we discussed, and then the package that we've created for that specific client, and then the client needs to respond. Sometimes we need to follow up with that client. So, just making sure all of the steps are being taken and really like automating that process versus did this get sent out? Where are we at with this client? Did we follow up with this client? So, those are some of the things that I want to just automate better and just have like clearer systems in place
Right. How are you doing it now?
manually.
Yeah, just send out one email, make a note when the next one's due. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Send it out, check it off in Asana, and then just keep like we have everything in Asana where we're just checking it off, but it's more so like I want it to be fully automated, like a 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if client experience is your primary goal, I would say what I've seen in Dubsado, it's so beautiful. Like you can make it so pretty and it's so every time I get an invoice or something from a vendor that's using Dubsado, I know it. Like, this is so pretty. And I write to them, are you using Dubsado? And they always are. So I will say that my experience in that platform has always been like, it's just so pretty. And it's so, yeah, I love how everything feels. I don't know that I've used Honeybook in that way, like maybe it's, I just haven't, the vendors I'm using aren't using it. So I don't know. When you have evaluated both, do you get that same feel in Honeybook?
So I've only used HoneyBook, but not for like the CRM aspects of it, more so like doing things manually, like sending out invoices, sending out contracts, never in an automated way. So I'm not familiar with it in that way. And then I am totally not familiar with Dubsado.
Oh,
So I'm interested in getting to know like what it has to offer. I've heard that they have similar features. So I really want to see what Dubsado has to offer. And then I guess experience like the free trial, see if I like it and then make a decision from there.
yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like maybe you could set up both of them. I mean,
Mm,
it's a little bit redundant, but
yeah.
for a month, have both of them running and choose, one client's gonna get it in this and the other client's gonna get it in that, and just see which one feels better, which, what kind of response you get, which works better for you, your team.
That I did not think to do that. Did not
Yeah,
think to do
because I mean,
that.
I don't know enough about either to say one or the other, but,
Yeah.
probably working it directly would help.
And you think doing it simultaneously will yield the best results?
Well, I mean, it's up to, what would work. If you have 2 clients that are onboarding right around the same time, it
Mhm,
might be a good experiment to
mm.
just get them both going to see how it feels and how is the follow-up and what do your clients do they write to you and say like, "Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Are you using Dubsado?" Like I do, right? Or is it exactly the same? And then you would maybe just go based on like price or feature that they offer. Right now, you're looking at like what's going to work the best for you. So you really are going to probably have to test that on both to see.
That's
Okay,
actually a great idea. So thank you for that.
yeah, good, good, good. All right. Now, what I think you mentioned another area that you're, another challenge that you're facing as a growing company. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, so the other area is really figuring out how to the overall goal is just like to improve our client experience as well as building out our internal systems and really improving our communication as a team. And I am struggling with being out of the loop. And
Yeah.
it comes with the territory, as a growing company, obviously as a CEO it is to be expected, but at the same time, I feel like there's a certain responsibility at the level that I'm at right now to still have a pulse on, at least what the day to day is looking like.
Right. Yep. No, that's fair. Okay. So what are your current systems for like how do you currently stay up to date with what's going on?
So we typically communicate via Asana, like directly within the project, or if it's something quick, we communicate via text.
Okay. And so do you ever find yourself like in a conversation with the client where they're like, so I just wanted to ask about my project and you're like, oh, give me a second and you have to kind of go look it up?
So what I typically do is I will say like, my team member so and so is currently working on that, but I'll definitely be sure to get back to you with exactly where we're at within that task. So and
Yeah.
it's kind of been like that. But I want to get to a point where I know exactly, this is where we're at with it. And that way I'm not, caught off guard, so to speak. And not having that clear answer for my client to let them know like exactly where we are and when it is anticipated for us to be complete with that task.
Okay. So your business is growing, right? It's only going to get bigger.
Yes.
So is it realistic that you're going to know everything at any given second?
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So, maybe the system that you have in place with, you referring to Asana is not so bad. I mean, that seems like a reasonable system. Have you run across clients who like are frustrated by that, or do you feel like they understand?
No, not at all. They're typically pretty understanding, but the newest thing we're going to start implementing is that end of day, check-in form that I mentioned before. And I think that's going to really help set me up for success as the client facing, person. So I think once we start implementing that, then we'll definitely be more prepared. At least I
Okay.
will.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be your at the end of the day, you're going to get these reports, these little updates from each of your team members to say like
Mhm,
client 1, we're at this stage, client 2, I'm waiting for the, all the
mhm.
status so that you'll feel like if something comes up, you'll know. Okay. And have you worked on your like operations manual yet? Do you have a
I'm in the process.
guide?
Yes, I'm in the process of building that out, especially I know at this revenue level, that is something that I do need to do. It is in progress right
Yeah.
now. It is not complete. It's more of a working document, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can use your team members for that too. Like they can be documenting each of their things as they're coming across new um tasks with their clients, right? Are they also involved in building that out?
They're not involved in building it out. I have shared it with them and they have given me feedback on certain things, but I haven't introduced it in a way that says like, okay, you can also work on this and like write out what your systems and your processes are that you're doing on a daily basis. Actually, never thought to do that.
Okay. Because that might be helpful and take something off of your plate. You don't have to do it all,
What
right?
would you recommend them, like, how can I incorporate them into that?
Yeah. So one way, are you familiar with Loom? Do you use Loom?
Yes, I have Loom.
Okay. So that could be one way. Now, with client information, it's a little tricky because you don't ever want to share, actual client information, but they could create a process that either blurs out or maybe just talks through like when a client asks me to do this kind of thing, this is the process that I take. I log into this account, I go to this area, I go to this other thing so that if they had to take a week off or a month off unexpectedly, one of the other team members could step in, you could step in and pick up immediately where they're at. Um, so that might be one way of doing it, or just documenting like the process for creating a new Instagram account for a client is this. Da, 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 da. We need their phone number. We're going to need them to do the face verification. They're going to schedule a time to be on together where you get the codes, you get the email, you get the picture, like there's this whole process. I just had to recently do it. And so that those are the kind of steps that they can document in 5 minutes, 10 minutes as they're working through these stages, and then just provide them back to you and you can add them to your process.
Very, very great idea.
Good.
Like the wheels are turning. I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I could have them do.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. And so I think one of the other things you mentioned maybe offline is delegation,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So
Have
do you want to talk a little bit about where you're struggling?
Yes. So even though I have freed up most of my time that, allows me certain luxuries throughout the day, like going to the gym, I am still holding on to certain tasks that I know for a fact that I can offload. I've just been struggling with how to offload it. So I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, I have a perfect example. So, as I'm the one that's client facing, I create all of my meeting agendas for my clients. And most of my clients were on a bi-weekly meeting basis, right? So, it's one afternoon I take every other week. It's not that much time. Can someone else do that? 100%. Have I given it to the person that I told I would give it to? I have not. And I'm torn between it literally doesn't take me that long to do, so it can be delegated, but I also have other information that I need to include on the agenda that so it makes it easier for me to do. or I know what needs to be removed because it's just a copy, copy in the previous meeting. I know what needs to be removed versus what needs to stay.
Right.
So it's like, should I just hold on to this one? Should I delegate it? I don't know.
So the person that you're planning to hand it over to, are they the representative for each client, or is it a different person? Like,
Yeah,
is it
yes.
their account person, the person who knows, who's working directly with the client?
So yes and no. Yes and no, they may or may not be working directly with that client, just depending on whatever services that client is getting. So how it works is I receive all of the assignments, I delegate it out to the team. So we are working with multiple client accounts at one time. So this person, she will be, stepping into a more project management role in addition to being like my administrative virtual assistant, where she will start working in-house with me.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, can she do it? Yes, but does it make sense for her to do it? And I
Okay.
haven't been able to determine if it makes sense for her to do it.
Okay. Well, could she just kind of own the process? Like, she reformat, she does that, simple copy and paste. She changes the things that she knows are going to change. She leaves the blank spots, and then she goes to each of the team members to say, update your piece here, you update your piece here, you update your piece here. And then lastly, Ashley will get something that's 85% finished, and you can make your adjustments, add your piece, and it's ready, so that you're not tracking down, you're not asking questions, you're not saying, what about this? They're doing their piece, and what comes to you is just about there, and you just do the finishing touches right before your meeting.
Another great idea. I gotta let it go. I have to let it go because I've been saying it for months and I just have not done it.
Yeah, that sounds like something she could handle in that project management role. She can own the collection, and you'll still have the final, review, approval, edits, etc. But it's just that last piece that you really need to touch, and everything else will come from the people who have that information.
Agreed.
Excellent. Okay. Well, gosh, we've made a lot of progress, I feel like.
Yes, definitely. It was so, you get to a point where you're so in it that it's like the answer that you're looking for is right there, and but you can't see it until you actually speak to someone
Yeah.
other than yourself. So
Yeah.
thank you. This was definitely super helpful.
Oh, good, good, good. Excellent. All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like you've got an amazing, growing company, and you're doing some really great things, and I'm sure helping your clients in measurable ways. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I will keep an eye on you too, because I am going to be needing some help very
Really.
soon. um, all right. Well, thank you again, Ashley, for joining us today. I can't wait until our next session when we talk about all these changes you've implemented and what's going on next.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
All right. Well, that was another great session. It was really fun to learn more about Ashley's business, and she's growing so quickly. And sometimes these little system changes, these little tweaks in the process, can really make a big difference in freeing up time, reducing stress, just one less thing to think about. So I'm excited to see those changes that she implements, and I hope it really makes a difference for her and her team. If you would like to be a guest on Fulfilled After 40, the podcast, we'd love to have you. Just visit the website, and in the upper right corner is the button that says the podcast. You can request a session yourself, and I'd love to talk more. Until next time, have a very great week.